in the credits there, But if anybody's got questions, let us know in the chat and we will bring you up to join. But I know Ray's usually got something because he is a horror fanatic, but also a student of the film industry. So I'll let him go first. Ray?
All right, I'm here.
All right.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, John.
Same to you.
So, just want to
Are
ask
you
you.
the Ray that saw the movie millions of times?
Yes, I love old school films. Anything that has this kind of, genre and the way it's made, it just catches the eyes of millions of people watching it. It's just how you created the, story to make it authentic, almost like it was to be real, but it just, like you said,
Well, again, in that version, it was down or down, and it bears little relationship to my script. However, I was the one that when we made Night of the Living Dead, I was the one that came up with the idea of dead people after human flesh. And
really
most
good
of the main
idea.
ideas in Night of the Living Dead did come from me, not George. And I wrote most of the script. So in that sense, whatever you see that, whether it's Walking Dead or any of the derivatives wouldn't exist if it wasn't for me. Like, I don't know what would have happened with Night of the Living Dead if I didn't come up with that idea. We might have made a very good movie, but the thing that seemed to do the trick is this idea that dead people can come back to life and that they're going to go after human flesh, live human flesh. And now, because human beings all through our evolution we were prey for wild animals, saber-toothed tigers and lions and cave bear and whatever, and even cannibals. But and so I used to say that zombies weren't heavyweight fright material like vampires and werewolves. And when I was a kid, I saw all the movies that came into town, and there were a lot of them. And but the zombies never scared me. They just shambled around, threw somebody against the wall, tried to strangle somebody, and they just weren't scary until we made them flesh eaters. And that, I think, we have an atavistic fear of being set upon by beasts and of being devoured. And then it's worse if it could be your loved one who is now devouring you, and on top of that, you're going to become one of them if you survive, so to speak. So there's multiple dimensions of terror that we created when we made them flesh eaters.
Very good
Thank
answer.
you, Ray.
You're welcome.
Noah, you said you had a question.
Somebody has a question.
Yeah, Noah, where you at?
Hello there, can you hear me?
We got you.
How you doing? John, this is an honor. Huge fan. Been watching movie for decades now. Question for you though, because I know you had a novel, and then I know we got this Harambe. But were there any thoughts about with the novel that you had written, the original Return of the Living Dead, was that ever going to be made into a film?
Yeah, I did talk about that during the screening of the movie. That screenplay was owned by the Tom Fox estate, and there is a company that bought the rights to it. I don't have the rights to it anymore, but I have several scripts that do involve zombies. Every one is unique and different from anything you've seen before. And so we're actually on the verge of getting the money to make one called I've done so many. Sometimes I in the middle of a sentence I draw a blank, but it's Spawn of the Living Dead. And I take things a different route with each one. And surprising things happen with each script and each story that I write. So, but I've written I've published about 40 novels. Only about 4 or 5 of them have anything to do with zombies, but each one is its own thing and unique.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Okay, Dee, I will chat with you about that. But anybody else have questions as we move along? And why people let us know, I'd like to, and thank you, Ray. I will pass that information along about the convention.
Actually, I just copy and pasted the link. So thank you,
There you
Ray.
go.
You are awesome.
You're welcome.
Ed.
I just felt like sharing it.
Yeah, Ray's good with that kind of stuff. Ed, what do you got?
I was thinking Sam's the one it's awesome. She's the one she's really great whenever she's assisting us at our tables at conventions, but
you know
also
what?
Huh?
I said, you know what? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Ray, since you're a huge fan, if we get this convention, you can be John's booth bitch. Sorry to say that, that's what they're called. And yes, that sounds great. John, you are going to, is that New Mexico?
Yeah, La Cruces.
Awesome,
Yeah,
perfect. Okay, John, we're sending
They
you to
should be
New
able to sign you
Mexico.
up there.
I'd have
You
to
just
check
hit
my
them up there.
schedule
They should be able to book you.
to know that, to make sure I'm open for whatever date it is.
Well, he said that there's a Comic-Con there, and I love Comic-Cons. I think they have awesome energy.
Mhm.
So we're going to start sending you to Comic-Cons. And now that we know that you've got a helper, Ray,
Okay.
wherever we
But
have a
anyway,
trusted
but
fan that can be
you're
there when I can't be, then
I guess
I
he
would
knows
gladly.
that you're the one that helps manage my Facebook page and so on, and done a great job rebuilding it and making it better than it used to be by far. So I just wanted to show that appreciation for
Well,
you.
thank you. It's because you have awesome fans. Good
Edward,
people.
what you got, buddy?
Oh, hey, yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, it's nice to meet you, man. This was real fun.
Thanks.
Um, yeah, so I'm kind of curious about like the stuff that got left on the cutting room floor. Like, obviously, this one you said it was a total rewrite. For Night of the Living Dead, though, was there anything that you had like wanted to see in the movie that got cut, or y'all didn't have the budget, or like you said, that fire stunt? I mean, if you didn't have the balls to get up there and do it, it wouldn't have gotten done, right? So, is there something that just didn't get done that you envisioned that just didn't end up on the
No,
screen?
not we shot that movie was shot on a 6-to-1 ratio, and we were running out of film. I mean, we couldn't shoot everything that we had went into the movie. The distributor, the Walter Reed organization, Continental Pictures, they wanted more zombie shots, more ghoul eating things. George and I combed through that, and we picked out the best stuff that we had. There's a couple shots that actually have too much shadow on them, but they wanted more shots, and we gave them what we had. So there were things that we kind of wished we could have done if we'd had more money. We did go to Washington D.C. We had to show that this phenomenon was occurring not just around this little farmhouse in Western Pennsylvania, but was happening all over the United States. So in one of our meetings, I said, well, hell, we're only a couple hours from Washington D.C. Let's just go there and shoot. So Hardman had the Lincoln car, and he dressed it up with the flags. I had a bitch of a time finding a general's uniform because there's regulations about who can even have one. And I found that this uniform wouldn't have worked if the film was in color. You would have seen that it wasn't authentic, but it worked in black and white. And I was the general's driver in that scene, and George was a reporter. And we drove down and we shot in front of the Capitol with no permissions at all. And Al McDonald, who played the general, was changing from. There was a bunch of high school teachers that were on a tour, and in some of the photos you can see them, some of the publicity shots, and we had to hold an army blanket up around Al so he could get out of his civvies and into the general's costume, so that was funny. Nowadays, we have probably been shot. But so, and we could. I think Hardman and Eastman had enough money to stay overnight in a hotel, but George and Russ and I and most of us just drove up, did the filming, and jumped and drove back all in one day. So we
to be
did
young
that.
again, right?
We would have if we had the money, we probably would have blown up Bigman's diner, and we would have probably dramatized that whole thing. That Ben had to pull that whole thing off. That was his big crucial speech when he's tearing the table apart. He had to make that whole incident real for people without us filming it. And up to that point, Dwayne was pretty suspicious, even though we had unanimously voted for him as the lead, thought he was the best actor, but he had a bit of a chip on his shoulder and wondering if we were exploiting him or something. And through that speech, it dawned on him that we were actually all pulling for him. And he just broke down into tears and went around and hugged each one of us. And it was like a big cathartic moment. And from that point on, he realized that we were all in this together. And he and I were, good friends till he died. He died at age 50, heart trouble. He would come when he would. His family lived in Duquesne, Pennsylvania, right across the river from our studio. His sister was a Harvard Law School graduate. She happened to be the city solicitor of Atlanta in 1996 when the Olympics were there and that bomb was set off.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember that.
They were highly educated, very intellectual family. And that's how Dwayne was. He was teaching at Columbia University when he was brought in to do the film. But one day, we're all loaded. Every time he'd come into town, we'd go to some party or other. And then my wife and I were driving him home, and he lived at the top of this real windy brick road. And across the street from his house was a low brick wall. And it was a curve, and he said, now, Jack, he said, everybody thinks, because it looks easy, everybody thinks that they can just back up and turn around and go back the way they came instead of going all the way around the hill and down. And said, don't try it because it's an optical illusion and you'll fail. Well, he got out of the car and he went down the walkway, and I said, shit, I can pull this off.
Challenge accepted. That's the same thing I would do.
I crunched my 1966 Buick Wildcat convertible right into that brick wall. Crunch. And Dwayne was watching from the porch. He yells out, "Oh, Jack, you would have to try to be intrepid." That's the way he talked. He had this booming voice, You would have to try to be intrepid. Yes, I did try. And yes, I crunched my car.
Man, that's pretty cool though, too, man. Those stories are priceless, man. I feel like though, I remember watching that movie for the first time and shocked. I mean, it was shocking to me that, because I grew up in the 80s, and the black guy always gets killed first, and here he's the final survivor. He's also the only one talking sense at everyone. And I just thought, man, dude, this must have been groundbreaking at the time.
Most of the main ideas were mine, and that was too. I came in one day and I was still working on the script, which I wrote in about 3 weeks, by the way. I rewrote George's beginning, where he hadn't even known what the attackers would be, and then I wrote the whole rest of the script myself. And one of the things that I said when I came in one morning, I said, Pennsylvania is a big deer hunting state, and every year we slaughter 300,000 or 400,000 deer and 10 or 12 drunk hunters. And wouldn't it be ironic if, a gold looks more like a person than a deer does, and somebody would be killed by accident, and it'd be ironic if it were our hero Ben. And so that's what we did. So if you ever buy one of my or come into possession of one of my original screenplays, you'll see that the ending is a little different. Dwayne does get killed, but the Barbara survives. And it wasn't my idea to have the brother drag her out at the height of the siege there. That was somebody else's idea, and I forget who. But we debated and debated. Could the brother really come back? Because he was intended to be dead. He had his head smashed against a tombstone. And we thought, well, but maybe his brain wasn't completely destroyed and he could come back. But we didn't want to blow it, and make people stop believing in the movie. So we really sweated that out, and we decided that people would buy it. And it became one of the iconic scenes of the movie. Well, Russ did such a great job through the whole thing anyway. Russ had training, though. He graduated from the Pittsburgh Playhouse, which was really one of the best acting schools in the country as a community theater and an acting school. And a lot of noted people, Shirley Jones, Frank Gorshin,
Oh, wow.
Charles Grodin, I forget. Those are the ones I always think of, but they're Jack with the odd fellow, Jack.
Which one? Oh, Jack Lemmon.
No, not Jack Lemmon.
Oh, you said the odd. I thought you were talking about the
odd. Jack Klugman. Jack Klugman. Jack Klugman came. This is another interesting story, and I didn't know it until I heard him on the radio with Lynn Cullen here on the Pittsburgh station, and Jack Klugman was talking about he ran from New York because he owed bookies money, and they were threatening to break his legs or worse, and he ended up
Probably
in
not
Pittsburgh.
Funny.
At the Playhouse, and he went in there and wanted to enroll, and it was 1944 or 1945, and the Second World War was raging. So the director of the Playhouse allowed him to enroll only because she had almost no young men to act opposite the young ladies that were still there.
She was desperate.
But she was only going to let him stay for one semester. And Klugman said, in the meantime, we had to perform a scene. And he said, and I was acting opposite this young lady, one of my classmates. And he said, magic happened somehow. He said, the box we were sitting on became a park bench for real. And the coat hanging tree became a tree, and the sun was up, and I came to, and I did the scene, and I felt something like electricity going through my body. And the director said, Mr. Klugman, those of us in these kinds of positions that I'm in often we tend to forget that talent doesn't always come in pretty packages. Mr. Klugman, you do belong here, and you can stay. It makes me cry when I tell that story.
That's awesome, man. Talk about a Three Stooges scenario, right? Just like running from these guys, end up in this, and end up doing doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, that's pretty cool.
We got a million stories. The shit that a lot of the stuff that Russ and George got into while I was in the Army, really funny stuff. And we put it into a script. We have a script that Russ and I wrote together, a biopic about the three of us in the making of Night of the Living Dead and everything that went into it. Stuff that a lot of people have never heard before, in spite of the stories we tell on stage. So it's a really good biopic. We're trying to raise money for it now.
Oh, dude, that's got to be made, man. Now you got me wanting it.
I know you would think so, but it's not so easy anymore.
Yeah, that's there's money to be made right there, dude. I think everyone would want something like that, dude.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, thank you, man. This has been fun, man.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Parker, I know you had to scoot a little bit, but he's got his deal with the empty crypt and all. I know you probably have some good questions. Do you have anything off the top of your head here? If you can hear me. Mr. Parker. D, I guess you got something?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, do you have a question?
Oh,
He
no.
said, he said, Mr. Parker, maybe you're Miss Parker.
Yeah. But we'll do this now, while she's up on the line. D, can you come back on real quick?
Hey,
Yeah,
before we
absolutely.
forget, Sam, we ought to remind everybody to friend me on the John Russo, right?
Yes. Well,
Absolutely, yes.
and I am gonna send Sam a list of folks to make this easier for the autographs. I'm getting more and more, but the reason I asked Dee to come up is because for people who have donated to the viewing, we have a nice little prize of a split image she is going to take care of. But I would let before we pick a winner, I'd be curious to know if Dee can talk about her artwork and such.
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Our
Yeah,
pleasure.
so I'm
Glad
just a
you're
little I'm just a little baby artist. So I've been doing art for a really long time, but I only recently started showing my pieces to people. So I've never like shared anything that I've done. I have like a collection of stuff that nobody's ever seen. But a friend of mine brought me out of my shell a little bit last year, and I did my first con, and I was really well received. I went to Colorado Festival of Horror, and it was absolutely amazing. It was a great experience. So I'm just continuing doing those things and doing custom pieces for people and really starting to kind of get myself out there. So I'm doing Rocky Mountain Horror in a couple of weeks here. And then I'm also doing COFO again this year, and I hope to expand. But I do have a really special piece that I wanted to share with everybody. And Jonathan actually chose this particular one. So it's Art versus Freddy. So I have a print, one of a kind print off of a one of a kind painting. I will not make any more prints of this piece. And I'll have it mounted and sent to whomever the winner is. So I can't wait to see who wins.
Well, good for you that you, like you said, came out of your shell, because staying in your shell, what good is that? you know,
Right.
that's,
Yeah, I know. It took a little
I used to
while. It
be,
took some years.
you see how comfortable I am doing this now. Well, I was horrible at it when I first started, and I've learned as I went along. I used to always, I was always okay one-on-one with people. But when it came to talking to large groups, I would push it off on Russ, even though I was the president of the second company we formed together, New American Films. But I just couldn't do it. And then the first time I was on a TV panel show, I was terrible. So, but everything you do is a learning thing, you know. And the reason I was terrible on the panel show, which this is probably good for you to know if you haven't thought of it. I hadn't thought of it, even though we all watch panel shows and we watch, but I was talking to the people, to the audience. That's not what they want to see. I finally, when it was done, I thought, well, how stupid. They're there because they want to see the celebrities on the stage and in front of Johnny Carson or whoever you're in front of. They want to see them relating to each other. That's like the bird's eye view. And so that was one little nugget that I learned that helped a lot after that. But I don't know. It's such a learning process. And so is
It
everything.
definitely is. It definitely is. And you have to get used to, constructive criticism and stuff like that. So I have some friends that always am like, hey, can you look at this for me and like tell me exactly what it needs? Or like we'd like talk through it or something like that. And it's
You mean
definitely
something of yours or something of anybody's?
Oh, of my stuff. Anything that I've been working on or whatever, if I feel like it like needs something,
Oh,
but
okay.
generalized also, yeah, like in the film industry, it's definitely like that. Like, hey, can you read this for me and just, see if there's anything or whatever,
Yeah, well, you seem pretty personable, and that's also how you have to be with the fans, and you probably already discovered that. There are people that sit there like lumps, even noted people, and they just sit there like lumps, like they almost wish somebody would just hand them some money for their autograph and go away, and they really don't want to relate to anybody. And that's the wrong way to be, in my opinion. And the more that you do, I mean, they paid a lot of money to go. People save up for a year to go to these conventions, and they want to get to know the celebrities and the artists, and on some level different than just seeing them on a TV screen.
it's
So
super rewarding. It definitely is. It's very rewarding.
yeah, I agree.
So, Dee, I'm going to need to know what conventions are close to you as well, so that we can try to get John and Gary out to the Rocky Mountain region, because Gary wanted to get out there too. So we need to have a chit chat after this as well. Okay.
I will connect you because he's on that autograph list, Val.
Awesome. Awesome.
So you guys will definitely be connected. That's for sure.
Perfect.
But let's go ahead and do this for the art piece of artwork there. So, Mr. Russo, I will
Yes,
have you do this. I will have you choose the winner. If you can pick a number between 1 and 5, because I got the list, and as everybody knows, the guests don't see this list that I keep track of everything. So, to keep it fair.
Well, I'm not clear what I'm supposed to do, but tell me.
Just give me a number 1 to 5.
A number 1 to 5. Okay, 4.
And I'll be a son bitch.
Is it me?
Yeah, well, Sam, you never know.
I really like prizes.
Yeah, she's on the Price is Right, folks. No, it's actually, or in the words of Bob Barker, the price is wrong, bitch. No, the winner is actually Ray from New Mexico.
Yay, Ray!
Yeah.
Nobody else. Yes, there we go. I was just gonna have nobody else is as excited as I am. Yay!
Oh my god! Hold on. I figured that was gonna happen. I was like,
Ray
What did
jumped,
they
and
win?
it's funny because Ray jumped on it the last second a couple minutes ago, and go figure. So Ray, we will. So Ray, we will. I'll have to get your info again off air to get you an address to have the drawing sent out to you. So
we get to see this picture. I want to see this picture.
yeah, Dee, do you have it on you?
I have to no.
Okay.
Yeah,
hold on.
I
I
thought
will.
we were going to see it myself.
The
hold on.
picture of the painting is linked to this event though. So if you guys want to see the original, it's linked to the event.
Hold on, I'm gonna.
If you send us
Can you
a photo,
share the screen? Can you show us?
Yes, hold on. Give me
Okay,
1 second. I will.
Sam,
I
if
will
she
do that.
sends us a photo.
The
can we-
original is not here. That's gone. And
Okay.
I was only gonna make the one print of it for this special event. It was super awesome to be here and be a part of this.
Well, hey, maybe you can make 2 because I would like one for my wall, but we'll figure that out. Let's see.
All right, you know where to find me.
Yes. All right. Do this. Click on the image and let me share the screen.
Pull her up.
I pull her up.
Spence is killing me.
This is it.
Nice.
I remember seeing that now. You made that?
Yes,
Wow,
I did.
nice.
Yeah, that was an original that got sent overseas. It actually was signed by David Howard before it was brought over there to the buyer.
Right. David Howard Thornton's one of the nicest guys on the planet.
He is such a sweetheart. Yeah, and they were blown away. Damien had to take a picture of it. He was like, I need that. I was super honored. It was awesome. I actually have a photo of David signing it also. It was really, really cool.
Yeah,
I need to
and
ask you if you can make a tire iron zombie version because that's my favorite, John Russo. The tire iron zombie.
Whatever you want, you just let me know. It will be cartoony because that's my genre, but I can do it.
Okay, great.
awesome. Obviously, before I wrap, does anybody else have any questions? Would anybody else like to bring any? Oh, you know what? Hold on. We actually have one coming in. Let me go ahead and share her the info so she can get back in. But while we do that, would Sam and John like to share the Facebook fan page and stuff again? Talk about that.
Yeah, so John actually had two Facebook pages. One of them was his personal page. One of them was a page that was originally set up in 2013 that doesn't technically have an owner. And then we decided to start a brand new page and start from scratch. And the reason that we're starting this new page from scratch is so that he has the ability to get all the pages put into one and then actually be able to communicate with fans. Unfortunately, because like I said, the one from 2013 doesn't have a page owner anymore, I can't merge it. So we're literally just starting from scratch. If you guys can follow the John Russo that has the backdrop of John and Gary, that would be fantastic. And if you want to share the page, help us out at all, that would be amazing. If you guys have any conventions that you want to share with us, please put them in there. Fan pics, fan stories, anything that we can share. We love it. Get it out there because it's a way to interact. You know, John obviously is very, very personable and he loves a good story. He loves to share them. So, I mean, anything that you can put out there to create that conversation just to kind of bring people together. And then on top of that, he is on the road going to conventions regularly. So we like to be able to keep people updated to where he's going to be, when he's going to be there. And then obviously, if you're there, try to coordinate the ability for him to hang out with his fans as much as possible because that's what he does. You know, like he has a good time. Every time a convention is over, he goes straight to the bar and has a hot dog and a Budweiser. So, I mean, we want to give you guys the opportunity to go have a hot dog and beer with John, you know. So let us know where you're going to be and we'll try to coordinate that. And then because he's also in the process of trying to get into the swing of things with technology. I don't know if you've noticed getting into this call, it was a little rocky, but once we're here, we're great. So, I mean, if you guys want to schedule Zoom calls or Facebook Messenger calls, those kinds of things are available. He's on Cameo if you have little things that you need him to say or sing. Because, like I said, he's a little songbird. So, yeah, just any kind of help you can give to us with starting over because it's a very tedious process.
I guess I ought to mention one of the things. I wrote a Western horror story. It's a really good Western. It's in the book. You can buy my latest books at wolfpackpublishing.com or burningbulbpublishing.com. On Wolfpack, there's one of my novels called The Night They Came Home, and it's the Western, which was filmed in California, and the editing is almost done with it. On it, I didn't direct it, but I wrote the script, and I think it's going to be a really, really good movie and scary. So The Night They Came Home, you can see it's got a really great cover, and it's on wolfpackpublishing.com along with 10 more of my books.
When or where will that movie be coming out through? Like, will you have
I don't
copies?
know yet.
Okay. Because I was going to say, what you can do for the people that are here in this call right now, will have access to this list. If these people want to get a custom book/movie combination, make a super awesome pricing bundle for them so that they can have a signed copy of the book and the movie when it comes out. And we'll do it exclusively only to these people here.
Okay, like I said, I have the list and I have a short list for merchandise as we were talking about. I'm gonna connect with Samantha and we get this arranged. Like I said, I had one who wasn't able to attend, but he wanted to get something from John, who he is in Punta Cana, lucky bastard. Uh, so, like
Charge
I
him
said,
full price. Just kidding.
we're since he's in Punta Cana, we're charging double from what was advertised. We're charging double. Shit. What the hell? So that way we can cover the Budweiser and hot dogs. That's for sure.
Yes.
At the next show.
I
But
just saw a thing that April joined. I wonder if that's April.
yes, that's it. This is April, who wanted to get the question.
Woo! Now the party's really started. Just
Yes, April, can you? How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good, John. How are
Good.
you? Good. Sorry,
I'm getting kind of tired. I had to do all the talking.
So what you got, April?
Oh gosh, what do you want to talk about?
Whatever you want to talk about.
Well, first of all, I'm sorry that I'm late. I had to work tonight, so it was a little bit rough, but I made it. And it's good to talk to everybody and see everybody. And I love this movie. This movie, literally, like it's definitely one of my go-tos. It just I love it. I love it. The music, just everything. I mean, it's just amazing. And, it's one of those that I've seen it so many times that I can literally just put it on and I can, clean my house or do this or do that and just hear one little thing and know exactly, what's going on. And, I'll walk into the living room and finish what I'm doing and watch my favorite parts. And, so.
You didn't
Yeah.
even skip a beat.
No, not at all.
I always have to stop what I'm doing when it starts to rain and the steam is coming. Like, I don't know what it is about that part, but I always have to stop and look for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, same. It's just, it's just a classic. And like I said, it's definitely one of my go-tos.
Thanks. Even though I didn't work on the movie itself. But if it wasn't for me, it wouldn't exist if I didn't write the first script to begin with.
Right.
What else? What do we have to do next?
Well, since he came on, I figure I'll ask Nicholas. I'm guessing you have a question of some sort?
No, not really.
Okay, yeah, you usually don't pop on, so I thought you had something, so.
If I do, I would have tell you.
Thank you, sir. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to bring up, mention to John, any of that fun stuff? Let's see who's.
I actually wanted to ask Ray what he does because I thought that you had said that he's
Yes.
aspiring film.
Yes,
maker,
Ray, can
writer?
you come back up, buddy?
Yeah, Ray, where are you?
I'm here.
Okay,
What
there we go.
can you explain the schooling and stuff? Obviously, I know from
I
communicating with you.
go to school at Doñana Community College in Las Cruces, New Mexico. It's a community college, and I'm just doing like digital films and like we're doing like production, digital editing films, photography, and there's other stuff as well I'm doing, but it's really nice.
All right, well, Ray, I might be shipping John to you as we're trying to get him back teaching into universities at film schools and stuff. So you might have a roommate for a weekend or so if I can get him over there. I'm going to need your instructor's name also, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
John used to do lectures and seminars, and because of COVID, that all came to a screeching halt. So
I'll give you another name that you might be able to contact too, not just the Comic-Con. There's a guy that goes by name of, what is his name? But he's of the Las Cruces International Film Festival, and they do all that stuff where they talk about films. But you might be able to get a hold of the guy. I'll give John the name, Jonathan.
Okay, great. I did a lot of that kind of stuff, like Sam said, before COVID, and before the government cut the funding for the schools.
Well, I just think it'd be fun for you to go live with Ray for a weekend. Be a student at film school again, you know?
All right, so
You
I'm
guys can
putting
go
that
have
down in
hot
my
dogs
notes.
and beers.
Yeah, I'm putting
So-
that down in my notes to talk to Ray about. So get that
Travel
information.
plans and accommodations.
Yeah, get all that stuff taken care of. I'm taking notes as we go. Ed, you said you had another question? Ed,
Oh yeah, sorry, dude. I was reading. I was like, yeah.
how
So I
dare
may
you
have
do
answered
something
it.
like that?
I may have answered it myself. So I was gonna ask if there was something because I was looking at the Wolf. I already forgot the name. I typed it in the thing. The publishing, and I was looking for that book, and I found it. But then I found a whole bunch of I found a whole bunch of your other books, and I was gonna see like if there was one you could recommend. But then I saw that that title,
all
"Dead
of them.
Lives Matter," and I'm like, dude, that kind of
Well,
sings to me. I think I might check
I
that one
mean,
out too.
they're all unique. They're all different. You know,
Oh, there goes.
um, I, I, it's hard to recommend one because I put my all into each one.
Right.
Yeah, and so I wouldn't be writing
Yeah,
each
yeah,
one
yeah.
of
You're
them
not gonna be
all
like,
if
well,
I
this
didn't
one's
believe in them.
bad.
This
Well,
is the
well,
shit. This was
the
the
night they
shit.
came
Don't
home
read
only
it.
because the movie
What?
will be coming out at some
Not right now.
point.
Later.
I don't have a schedule on that yet. The editing was supposed to be finished about a week ago, and I'm not
Oh, I'm
sure
sorry.
if it got
So,
finished. The producer got hit with some virus. I just found out yesterday, so we'll see.
sorry, man. I was talking, but yeah, no, I was thinking about that. I was like, man, I wonder if there's one that like, because everyone has something they're super
The
proud of, right?
photos from the movie are great. You can go on IMDb and you can plug in the night they came home, and you'll just see just some really good-looking actors.
Yeah, well, dude, I love westerns. I love horror. I mean, I got to check that out for sure. And then I was like, well,
This
while
is
I'm
based
here,
on the true story of Rufus Buck Gang that you might be familiar with.
interesting. I bet, yeah. See, I bet Jonathan is because he's Mr. History.
Yes, I am. Yes, he is right. I am history background, so
But yeah, that's cool, man. I think I got. But yeah, just asking about that, like the writing experience and how you. I mean, it seems like you've written quite a bit, man. I mean, you stay busy, dude. I mean, like, what's your
I'm one
regimen
of the
like? Do
most
you just,
prolific authors that you'll ever meet. And that's
yeah,
one reason that I'm well equipped to teach people my methods.
so
And my
there's a
book, very well published. My 3 movie making books are known as Bibles of the industry, and I updated those books and combined them into one volume, which is on Burning Bulb Publishing, and it's called How to Make Exciting Money Making Movies. It's a big volume. It's Quentin Tarantino. I love this quote. Quentin Tarantino told me that he made a movie he didn't finish, and then he read my books and took notes and made charts, and that's what guided him through his first complete movie. So
I was gonna joke and be like,
pretty good
who? But
recommendation.
like Quentin Tarantino, who's that? Yeah, no, that's awesome. And then all the people that he's himself has influenced, it's like a ripple
Yeah.
effect, It's like there's like a whole pedigree of filmmakers out there that wouldn't exist without that kind of information, readily available at the fingertips, So that's awesome.
Well, and it's so much easier now. When we had to do it, you had to raise a whole lot of money, and it had to be 35 millimeter equipment and all that. Now
The
you can
technology's gotten
be
better,
in
dude.
business overnight on about $5,000, with digital production and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Yeah,
next
you're right about
question is,
that.
what can you do to make your own movie, no matter what the budget, stand out from the others? Because now there's a glut of product, but there's also more opportunity to things distributed, more theater, more TV stations, and more documentary stations and streaming outlets and so on.
Yeah.
That didn't used
No,
to exist.
you're 100% right. I could see where, like I said, revised that needed a revision. You know what I mean? The industry's changed so completely. since then. You know what I mean? Like you said, there is so much access to everything. It's all out there. It's just kind of like you really have to stand out from the crowd in order to get any kind of recognition, like you said, to get that attention.
That's for sure.
Absolutely. I do have a final question for me, though, and I was just thinking about this, listening to you guys talk about the books and throughout the whole night, and that being for you, since you've done both, John, what is the biggest difference in terms of your structure for screenplays versus literature?
Are you saying screenplay versus novel?
Or yeah,
I can write most screenplays in 2 or 3 weeks. And most people take a half a year or a year, and then they think it's, it's just I don't. I'm pretty fast, but that's because I have the technique down and I know what I'm doing to a T. And novels obviously are more introspective and more, you're getting into the minds of the characters and more than you can in the screenplay, which is not totally true. Almost nothing anyone can say is totally true because you get into the minds of the characters in a movie through the dialogue and flashbacks where necessary and so on. I actually don't like a lot of flashbacks generally. In a movie, just like Night of the Living Dead, I like to see it take off from the start and never flag and never digress. And just hook the audience and keep them hooked and drive the story forward. And one of the sort of searching for the word, but distributors used to say rather crassly, maybe, that you got to have a slam bang in a screenplay or a movie. You have to have a slam bang first 30 minutes and a slam bang last 30 minutes, and you can fuck around in the middle. Now, if you look, we weren't necessarily thinking that way exactly when we wrote the Night of the Living Dead script. And we used to worry, or I used to worry because I wrote most of it. But in essence, we had that. We had the slam bang opening, and then you get down to the point where the people come up from the basement, and it's all action and it's well-timed revelations about this phenomenon. It's mystery and intrigue and slow and revelations and key spots that keep you hooked. Okay, and then you have the last half hour where the whole, the siege where the zombies, the truck explosion, the people killed. It's the first time you actually see the zombies really eating anybody, And then in the middle, you have the argument about upstairs versus downstairs, and you have the relationship between Helen and Harry Cooper and their ghoul-bitten daughter and all that stuff. And I used to worry about that because that's the part where if people are going to lose interest, that's where it may happen when you're getting more into the dialogue and the characters and the revelations about those characters. If people don't find that interesting enough, then their attention's going to flag. Well, obviously we succeeded because people's attention never does flag, and that movie just hooks people from beginning to end. And that's kind of what you're after, if you can come up with devices that keep people interested and keep people on the edge of their feet and scared. In Night of the Living Dead, we have the kid that's ghoul bitten, and you don't know what she's going to turn into. She represents a constant danger. Sam Raimi did the same thing in a way, in his own way, in Evil Dead. You had the zombie that was trapped under the floorboards of the cabin, and the trap door had a chain and lock on it, but it wasn't secure. That thing could push against that trap door. So you had to constantly wonder whether it was going to escape and pounce on the people when they were busy fighting with the ghouls outside of the cabin, right? So those are really key devices that help keep the audience on edge. And you have to, as a writer, you have to be open to that kind of thing, and you have to be constantly thinking about it. What can I do? You know, and you don't want to show your hand all at once. You know, if you show your hand all at once, then the movie's over. You know, you have to have these. You have to have twists and turns, even in action sequence. You have to have twists and turns. You know, if the killer, let's say it's a serial killer, if it's Freddy or Jason or whoever it is, if they pounce on the victim and slash the victim's throat and it's all over in 10 seconds, that's no fun. That's not very effective. You know, but if they if you as a director can drag that fight out and have moments where it looks like the person being attacked is going to get the upper hand or escape or something, or both things, or all of the above, then you could milk that scene for 5 or 6 minutes of screen time, and good screen time, because you don't just want to screen time. You know, a lot of low budget movies, they'll have a lot of scenes that show the people traveling in a car from one place to another. Well, you know, that gets old pretty quick. So that's, I think you get what I'm driving at.
Would anybody else, like April? I know you came in later. Is there something else you might want to bring up, or is anybody else like to bring up something? And make sure you visit the John Russo fan page. As I said, I will share a link to my personal profile and through the event page as well to check that out. But Sam, is there anything else that we missed?
Not that I can think of. No, just if anybody wants to purchase anything, obviously. I mean,
I got a list.
Stuff, so
I got the details and all that stuff, so I will actually communicate with you tomorrow with all that stuff and whatnot. You know, list who's getting what and all that fun stuff. But thank you, everybody, and I hope everybody has a great night.
yeah, no, thank you again. I really, really appreciate you. You've been awesome. We did a practice run yesterday. We got our technological issues straightened out today, but you have been amazing, and I am so very thankful for you and what you do, because not a lot of people would have been able to set this up on such short time, because I literally said, how do we do this a day before you gave us a practice run? So thank you. You are awesome.
Thank you very much. I try.
Same here. Thanks to everybody that tuned in and asked some good questions. Appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
Welcome, John.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye. Good night.
Have a great night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Too.